Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday morning. First off, let me apologize for canceling the live stream last night. I was wiped out, guys. It was a long day yesterday, and I was trying to keep my head up by 7:30, not falling asleep. So, in the interest of not falling asleep right in the middle of a live stream, that was the end of that. So, my apologies. Sorry. But it brings up kind of what I was doing yesterday and why I was so freaking exhausted. Y'all know the basic necessities of life: food, water, and shelter, right? Okay. This is something why we say the middle class is getting utterly destroyed. And I want to give you exactly what I experienced yesterday. Throughout my life, what I've considered the basic necessities in life, now granted, it hasn't been an SHTF event, okay? I mean, as bad as the Biden presidency or the Obama presidency or the Clinton presidency were, we still were able to house, clothe, feed ourselves. But my three throughout my life has always been the three things you always have to have are an income, transportation, and shelter. Okay. And any of you who have ever been without one of those know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Because it's all consuming. You know, you got a house, you got a car or motorcycle or bike or public transportation, where we are, and you don't have a job, and that's all consuming. That's all you do is try to find a job. Or if you don't have a house, that's all consuming, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Okay. Because once you have those three things, you have a little bit of stability in your life. With an income, you can get food, or with a place to live, you can grow food, or however you want to take it. You know, in order to get an income, you've got to be able to get to the place in which you are earning that income. Whole 9 yards. But this is where we see the destruction of the middle class, because what they are trying to do, the powers that be, the globalist elites, is they are trying to destroy those three things. Okay. We could say they're trying to destroy food and water too. Okay. Make food so prohibitively expensive that, gee, but the bugs are cheaper, right? Okay. But so I look at my three basics: income, shelter, transportation. And the experiences that I've had this week are enough to drive you nuts. Okay. Want to go buy a new car? Yeah. Plan on dropping $50, $60, $70,000. Right? Okay. That's a little steep for transportation. And no, I'm not talking about buying a Mercedes or buying a Tesla or anything like that. Okay. I'm talking about buying standard transportation that four people can fit in, that is a useful type vehicle that's powered by gas. Okay. But that's what it takes right now. $70,000, thereabouts, 50, 60, 70. Mind you, the average income in the United States, as I've mentioned many times, for a household is $55,000. So in order to buy a car, you have to spend more than 1 year's household income before taxes on a vehicle if you want to buy a new vehicle. Okay. Hence the reason that basically everybody in the country is buying used vehicles, and the price of used vehicles are going up insane. I mean, I'm going to give you this, guys. This is a silly one when we talk about cars. There is one new car on the market that sells for less than $20,000. One, okay? And basically, I could put one on each one of my feet and use them as roller skates. I've never spent more than $20,000 on a vehicle in my life, ever. And I don't ever plan on doing it. My 14-year-old truck, I will keep that thing going until the cows come home because I refuse to have $1,000 truck payments or whatever it is. That's just insane. I mean, again, $55,000. If you say after taxes, let's just make the math easy. Let's say it's 48 grand that you take home. Okay, that means you're taking home $4,000 a month. If you have $1,000 truck payment, that means 25% of your income is going to a vehicle payment. And what are they doing now? 84 months? That's freaking 7 years. Okay. So they're trying to destroy that. Income. Well, we have no doubt whatsoever they're trying to destroy income. Beside Joe coming out every day and saying, oh, the economy's getting better. I've created so many jobs. He hasn't created a single job, okay? None. Zero. The people that are lucky enough to go back to work are going to the jobs they had before all those idiotic mandates closed down millions of companies, and they've got something else. He didn't create new jobs. The people just found different ones. That was it. He didn't create anything new. All right. We don't have new jobs in the United States. Matter of fact, we have less jobs here in the country than we did 3 years ago. Okay. Why? Well, AI can do that job. Well, robotics can do that job. Sure, we have more fast food joints going up. That's great. But if you were, I don't know, pick something, an engineer, or an accountant living on $55,000 a year or more, hopefully, okay, you're not going, woohoo, honey, I got a job. I'm now flipping burgers at Burger King. Okay. That's not an improvement in your life. So we are seeing that problem. You all know, I mean, the ones that are blatantly in your face. How many cashiers at the grocery store, how many cashiers at Walmart or CVS or whatever have lost their jobs because you can go scan your own stuff and you can check yourself out. And as you scan everything over, do the job that somebody else used to get paid for, they ask you if you'd like to leave them a tip, right? Yeah. No, where's my discount? Where's my 15? You want a 15 or 18 or 25 or 35% tip? Where's my 25% discount for doing this myself as opposed to you having to pay for somebody? Okay. We've all seen the copies of the receipts where you go to a restaurant or whatever, and simple one, there's a 3.5% charge if you want to use a debit card or a credit card, right? You've seen those. You've seen the copies of the receipts, a 4% surcharge for employee health insurance. No, okay, and I see those and I'm like, oh, you're charging me 3.5% to put this on my debit card? Now, right on there, 3.5% came out of your tip. Go ask your boss for it. Okay, that's the thing. Here's your choice. You can charge me 3.5%, but I'm not paying it. Just like when everybody says, oh, they're going to raise taxes on the rich. And the rich goes, well, I own a hardware store and I've got to pay higher taxes. So guess what? I'm going to raise my prices. And so the consumer pays for it. It all trickles downhill until the point where it comes that nobody goes to that business anymore. I'm not paying 4% surcharge for your health insurance. That's not my problem. You go talk to your boss. If your boss says tough, then it either comes out of your tip or I don't go to the store at all. Or I don't go to the restaurant at all. That's how it works. Okay, but they don't get that. But so we have jobs disappearing because of things like that. They're trying to take money from the middle class and give it to whomever, mostly either the wealthy or the poor, okay? The wealthy aren't the ones giving it to the poor. The wealthy are the ones that are robbing the middle class to give it to the poor. That's what their claim is, okay? So again, we talk about a race to the bottom. Feudalism. The wealthy will stay wealthy. The middle class will become poor, and we are in a two-class system. But nowhere, and this is my experience from yesterday, Nowhere is the destruction of the middle class more obvious than it is in the housing markets. Okay. Now, y'all know we hear the stories about rents, $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment. I think the average rent in the United States is somewhere around $1,800 or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, we'll go back to this. $1,800 rent. I've never had an $1,800 mortgage payment in my life, and I've never paid $1,800 in rent. Now, granted, I don't live in Oprah's mansion or something like that. No, because I try to live within my means. Okay, there's the thing. That's not affordable. But again, you go back to my previous example. If you make $55,000 and you have, after taxes, $48,000, and you have to pay $2,000 a month, you are paying 50% of your take-home pay for an apartment. Okay? Now, mind you this, a mortgage company used to, at least, not give you a mortgage if the mortgage payment was going to be more than 30% of your pay. But now rent is okay at 50%, right? And mind you, that's an average, okay, or a median, thereabouts. So that means half above and half below. Sure, you can go find a shithole apartment somewhere that's going to be cheaper. And, maybe you just have to brush the homeless guy off the porch in the morning, or make sure if you're in San Francisco, step around the piles of shit, okay, let alone the needles, and worry about bullets coming through the window. But yeah, that's where we're getting with Bidenomics. So yesterday, we were out looking for houses for a friend, okay? Online, taking a look at things we might see, right? This was now, you got to remember where I am, okay? I'm in East Tennessee. Not exactly what you'd call your Silicon Valley of the South. We were avoiding the cities, okay? We weren't looking at Knoxville or Johnson City, for those of you guys know. We weren't looking at, the bigger areas or Morristown or anything. We weren't even looking at being inside the city of a Maynardville, okay? Tiny little town. We're trying to stay out in the country, okay? The criteria that we were looking for was 1 acre of land out the country, okay, and under $300,000. Okay, 300. That was what we were looking for. I kid you not, what we saw was scary. Single-wide mobile homes built in 1980. $299,000. We saw a shed from it was a 20 by, it was 600 square feet. So it was a 20 by 30 shed that somebody had gone as far as putting spray foam insulation on the inside of the shed where the studs are. It was on 2/3 of an acre. There were no walls, no plumbing, no hookups, no electric, nothing like that. Okay. 2/3 of an acre for a 20 by 30 shed, 600 square feet. $189,000 for a freaking shed. Okay. Everything we looked at was manufactured homes. That was it. We found, literally, I kid you not, 2 stick-built homes within a 75-mile radius of me. Okay. One was a brick house that was built in 1950. And the other one is a barn that had been renovated. This is where we're going. People can't afford to live. They can't afford a roof over their head because of what's going on. Now, I know everybody's going to say, oh, the prices in Tennessee have gone up. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people about the prices in Tennessee going up. uh, hearing about new home construction, that houses that were being sold for 220 last year, the exact same house in the exact same neighborhood being built this year is going for 340. That's a 50% increase in a year, guys. Okay. Now, and everybody goes, well, yeah, just think how lucky you are if you bought the house and the profit you can make. Yes, I will give you that. I'm lucky. I bought my house in 2019, okay, for $217,000. Okay. Is it worth more now? Yeah. If I sold it, would I make a profit? Yeah. Guess what? Then I got to go somewhere else. Where? I'm in one of the least expensive areas in the country to live in, and you can't find a house for under $300,000. Oh, you can find a one-bedroom barn for $225,000. That's the best there is. This is the thing. We're going to see more. I mean, not just mom and dad, not just the kids in the basement living at mom and dad's. We're going back to where it was in the 1920s, 1930s, where you had 3 generations of family living in one house. For the simple reason is that's the only way it's affordable. Because if grandma and grandpa own a house, maybe their 40, 50-year-old kids need to move in along with their 20-year-old kids, because to pay the bills, they need those 6 incomes. That's how bad it's got, guys. That's the truth about Bidenomics. And it ain't getting better. If these prices keep going up, you're going to see homeless everywhere. This is what you're prepping for. This is why so many channels and so many of you scream and yell, get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. The days of moving, I told you guys a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, I said, if you're going to move now. You look back on videos back then and you will see it, okay? Because you can't now. They bitch about the housing market all the time. Oh, there's not enough houses. No, there's houses for sale. Just, you better plan on having $500,000, $600,000 for a starter home in the country. Because that's it. If you want something that doesn't leak or have electrical problems or wasn't built 50 years ago and not taken care of, if you want a stick-built house and not a trailer, you better have $500,000. And you know what? On a $55,000 income, getting $500,000 in the bank is practically impossible. But Joe is managing to do everything he can to put us all in the street, so when the day comes, but just move into our 15-minute city and we have a place for you to live. And we have food for you to eat. And we have public transportation for you to get you to that government-sponsored job. You know what this sounds like? The Soviet Union and the Eastern European countries, where there was government housing and government transportation to get you to your government job. If anybody out there doesn't see that this is Communism 101, like we've all been talking about for 5 years at least, okay, ever since Joe said, I want to be president, and started giving his first speeches about what he wanted to do. If you want to go back to Barry and all the communist stuff that he was trying to do, this is the thing. Wake up, America. This isn't the Soviet Union, but the Democrats sure as hell seem to want to be the Politburo. Pinball out.